NSFW, what human experiment would you want to see happen if ethics was of no concern? I would rent a giant island and fill it with 1,000 guys named Dennis. I would leave them the tools to survive if they worked together. Then I would add one guy called Brian. When they introduce themselves to each other, I would watch Brian intently while the experiment takes place. Will he turn into some kind of leader, or would he be lost in a world of Dennises? Pregnancy in zero gravity, to see how we would fare as a space-exploring species in the future. Brain transplants. How far can we replace the entirety of the human body with the exception of the brain with mechanical components? Synthetic organs, servo limbs, circuitry-based nervous system all connecting to the brain. How far can we go? How close can we get to almost pure cyberization? Could we replace the half of the brain behind memory and logic with an entirely computerized part so that the individual can think faster and better? What would happen if that half of the brain had a true artificial intelligence linked with the human conscience? Would they coexist? Would the AI understand human concepts better? Would the human even be able to survive the process? Do they still have their soul? Would sensors to essentially replace our senses and replicate them in our brain keep us from feeling less human? Basically, how long till I can become a tech priest, damn it? Human hybridization. IIRC. It's been proven that chimpanzee semen can fertilize human eggs. What would the resulting hybrid be like? Can other apes successfully hybridize with humans? I'm curious about what would happen if they redid the Stanford prison experiment but with real laboratory conditions instead of some bullshittery. I want to Truman Show someone. Conditioning children. Start in the infancy and put them in various types of parenting. From a scale of strictest to most lenient. All the factors are the same. Just different parents. I really want to know the effects of parenthood to children. Locking people in dark rooms for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and a decade. I'd like to see what happens to their vision, and mental health. Not an experiment, but if millions actually raided Area 51, how many people would be shot before the government says, fuck it, let 'em see the aliens? Death experiments. Effects of extended sleep deprivation, already known to be fatal. However, extended timeline of symptoms is unknown. Total sensory deprivation. Remove all senses and have subject report experiences. Insanity is sure to follow. Lifetime caloric restriction diet effects in humans. Estimates of effects are 4 times remaining lifespan. If implemented from birth and maturity, what is maximum lifespan? Take someone with severe schizophrenic delusions and mold their surroundings according to their delusions. E.g., they think they are Jesus, get a bunch of people to act like they believe it and start following them. If they think the government is after them, have some men in black capture them. What would happen with their delusions? I would find it very interesting to see what the human sleeping rhythm would get to if a human is not exposed to the day and night cycle, including time, in any way for some time. Edit. Thank you all so much for commenting. I have read and watched a lot of great articles and videos regarding this topic. I'll list some of my favorites here. **** isolated and completely dark bathroom for 30 days. 30 days was intended. ****, posted by Matt710 https://www.theguardian.com/sport/2019/jan/10/rich-alati-poker-player-bet-dark-room-isolation ***man in a cave by choice for 2 months and more for 3 separate times posted by Shanders https://01/22/this-explorer-discovered-human-time-warp-by-living-in-a-cloning, and harvesting the body parts of your own clones. Lots of unethical experiments in early childhood development, learning, and education. Basically, come as close to solving education as possible with a series of trials and controls. Gene editing experiments and trying to genetically enhance intelligence. We would be trying to create a next generation of far smarter humans. who could then design better gene tech and education programs for the next generation, and so on. How long someone who is morbidly obese 600 plus lbs could survive with just taking multivitamins. Mock trials where the jury doesn't know they are a part of it. New rules though, if they push for the death penalty they must have a hand in the matter. On the day of the execution they all are in separate rooms and each with their own button, with the inmate hooked up to a lethal injection device. They have 1 minute to push a button and it must be unanimous, if not the person is acquitted. Would people do it? Would they have the conviction if they had to be held to their word? I think people like to say things but don't follow through. Of course at the end we reveal it was an experiment. What bias would we see and what not? Edit. Thank you for the civil replies. I've seen people link the Milgram experiment and I am aware of it and I adjusted my setup to account for that. The people are not being told by outside figures what to do. The system is the same in that the jury decided the death penalty is appropriate after the usual court proceedings. The thing I am changing is that instead of them passing their judgment and walking away they have the chance to anonymously take it back or have a shared hand in finishing it. So it's not so easy to separate yourself from the gravity of the situation. It would allow us to get some data on what makes people so sure of such drastic measures and how peer pressure and reflection may change their mind or cause people to reevaluate their moral code. Keeping people alive no matter what. How far can the human body go before it dies? A lot of stuff with how brains work. I want to see how many waves of 5-year-olds I can fight. Gimme a crowbar and I think I could reach 75 before I get tired or they defeat me. I might sound crazy, but what if you just made an enclosure habitat with a human baby male in it and let it live in there? Feed it food and water secretly without it being exposed to other humans. And when he becomes an adult, let in a human female and see if A, the human male has sexual desire for the female, B, tries to communicate to the female, and C, displays monkey-like behavior. Human breeding programs for different traits would be cool. Take quite a while to do the experiment, of course. But can we create a sub-race of 8 feet tall people, or humans who can sprint 30 miles per hour? How about someone with the human analogous temperament of a golden retriever? Can a butthole really stretch 1 foot? Can a human die of physical pain alone? If a person was tortured with little to no physical harm to the body, let's say artificial stimulation of pain receptors or something like the Cruciatus curse for Harry Potter fans, how long would they last until they just died? It'd be interesting to see what would happen if you switched a human baby with a chimp or ape. The baby would be raised only by the animals, like Tarzan, and the animal baby wound be adopted by a human. I wonder how differently they'd grow up. I've always said it would be interesting to raise a child in a colorless home for the first 15 years or so of their lives. Make them live in a home where everything is white. All the furniture and whatnot. Only allow them to eat food that they can dye white or gray or something. The only color they can see is their own skin. I'd even go to the point of dyeing their hair white too. Have some caretakers help raise them, but those caretakers also must wear a wig or dye their hair white and wear gray contacts. The kid can watch TV and do whatever else inside the home, but no color at all. Then take the kid outside and expose them to a forest and then a city and just see how they react to all these new colors. That island where the missionary died a couple years ago, Sentinel Island, I would capture a native and bring them back to a facility. We'd care for them, earn their trust and learn their mythology and culture. I want to know their mythology. They literally get fire from heaven. I want to know what they think it is. I want to know their view of the world. I want to know everything. Can humans die from continuous orgasms? If so, what's the maximum number of orgasms? Gene splicing. Create some fucked up monster thing in order to find greater cures for diseases and shit. Something like splice but without that shitty last like 20 minutes. Edit. Holy hell. I wrote this before bed thinking it'd be a throwaway response. Thanks for blowing it up in my first ever awards. Also, for everyone mentioning CRISPR, I don't mean altering genes, I mean creating new organisms entirely. Still waiting for that head-body transplant. Get a bunch of kids together and lock them away on an island. They'd have to be young enough to not be influenced by culture. Then I want them to make their own. What kind of civilization will they build with no knowledge of the world? Languages, stories, religions, who knows what they'd do? We'd probably have to introduce some sort of resources though. And babies can't really survive on their own, but we'd figure out a way to do it. Get 3 islands all with easy access to fresh water, forest and arable land, and that's it. No communication from the outside world except for a small library of books. Populate one with billionaires, one with a random sampling of Americans, and one with Americans living below the poverty line. See what kind of societies will arise. Raise a child without the knowledge of the color blue. Teach them every other color is normal, but just never mention blue as a color. Then when they are older, see if they can still perceive blue to be a separate color from the others. If their brain hasn't been trained to recognize blue, repeat for other colors. Olympics where performance enhancers are allowed. I wonder what the human body could do. Get 8 people with completely different pizza preferences. Choose people who literally will not eat anyone else's preference. No allergies or religious reasons. Lock them in a room with 8 beds, a toilet, water fountain and shower. Don't let them eat for 3 days. On the 4th day, give them a pen and piece of paper and tell them to write down what kind of pizza they would like to share. Someone's gonna have a pen in their neck by the time it's done. Transfer of consciousness. Like some of the things you see on Black Mirror. Imagine putting your wife inside a teddy bear? Human reproduction in space. We talk about the future of long-term space missions, so you'd think this is a critical thing to test out. How important is gravity in both conception and fetal development? On some level, I think that NASA has secretly tested this. If they haven't, China or Russia certainly has. Right? This one's dark. In the 1940s, Russian scientists tried to make the head of a beheaded dog show signs of life after pumping fresh, oxygen-rich blood through its head. As the results were surprisingly enough positive, the scientists wondered if it could also work with a human being. When the setup was complete and turned it into action, the head started to show signs of life, after which the scientists immediately stopped the experiment. I would like to see what that head could do. I'm curious about a hallucinogen study. Would people begin to see and hear things even if they took the placebo? Also, what would happen if we simulated the symptoms of schizophrenia in someone's daily life? I wouldn't mind seeing the results of a Gattaca-like world. Theoretically a great path to eliminating disease, genetic abnormalities and deficiencies, augmenting desired traits, etc., but also a very possible path to dystopia. Testing the effects of the water pressure on the human body at dive depths up to and possibly exceeding 35,000 feet, more than 10,000 meters, in the ocean. Split up the county and do a controlled study of a bunch of economic policies so nobody can keep claiming their crap works if it doesn't. Actually compare growth and economic mobility, not to mention the tax dollars. Edit. Some of y'all think I want to compare capitalism and communism or some shit. No, I want a graph of Social Security benefits versus dead grandmas. I want all of Maine on a universal basic income and all of Nevada without any social programs. I want to eat the rich, but only in Florida. I want to subsidize grain in Iowa and vegetables in Nebraska. Also kudos on the snarkiest wholesome award I have ever received. I may sound like Hitler, but I just want to tell you all right now, I'd never ever condone something as despicable as this. That said, I've always wondered how different personalities would react to torture and imprisonment. How long would it take for each one to break down? Are there certain personalities that are better at handling the torture and imprisonment? Questions like that.